Hey folks, so I just taught Hegemony and it is a bit of a beast. With 4 factions that work very differently from each other, getting a handle on what to actually do in the game can be a bit of a struggle. So with that in mind, I've come up with some tips for each faction, as well as one that's true for all of them. So without further ado, here are my top 5 beginner strategy tips for Hegemony. This might be a little obvious, sure, but it's worth cementing this very basic fact: you need to work with the other players in order to get things done. This is most true for the state player, but even the working class will need to get along with the capitalists a little bit, or grudgingly accept their presence, because like it or not, you need each other. Now sure, you're going to be fighting on a lot of different grounds, but you can do very little by yourself, so it's worth it to try to antagonize people as little as possible. As the working class, you obviously want to gain prosperity, and you should be pushing for the resources that help you do that. But you should also keep your trade unions in mind from the start. Strategically educate and place your workers so you can get a couple unions as quickly as possible. Then do your best to keep them in place, because the point income can really add up if you can maintain it. To that end, the most important policies for you are healthcare, education, and high wages. But it's also a good idea to push foreign trade down so you can buy food without tariffs. As the capitalist class, you obviously want to make money because that's how you score points. But the first couple rounds should really be focused on building your infrastructure and getting the policies where you need them to be. The taxation and labor policies are super important for you, as well as increasing tariffs so that you can raise your own prices. On top of that, you should be putting most of your money into building companies that you can staff and start producing things that you can sell. Even if you have to take a loan, that's okay. If you build your business well enough, by the 4th round, you'll be raking in the points and catching up to the other players. As the middle class, you obviously want to make money and gain prosperity, but doing so is easier said than done. This is the most complex class, so you might not want to play it on your first game. But if you have to, or you're just up for the challenge, one of the most important things to do is move immigration to A so that you can keep your population down. You also want to put as many middle-class workers into your own businesses and staff working-class employees along the way. If you can keep your fully staffed companies above your population, you'll negate the extra prosperity loss. And by making your own resources, you can sample your own supply, which will help increase your prosperity even further. As the state, you obviously want to keep everyone happy, but the most important thing is that you don't drown in debt. That means higher taxes and lower wages are good to aim for, and having healthcare and education in the middle is pretty good because players are more likely to buy them at that price, so you'll make some cash, and you'll get a steady trickle of points when they do so. The agendas are cool, but you don't need to build your whole game plan around them. It's better to make sure that you play both events every round and keep your legitimacy up. And again, for the love of God, avoid IMF intervention. So those are my top 5 beginner strategy tips for Hegemony. If you've got any suggestions of your own, I'd love to hear them in the comments below. And if you're looking for some more in-depth strategy advice, I leaned pretty heavily on a BGG article while writing this, so check out the link to that article in the description because it goes a fair bit deeper on each strategy than I did. And lastly, my Patreon backers got to watch this video a month before everybody else, so if early access to stuff like this sounds appealing, or you want to tell me what games to teach in the future, consider heading on over to the Patreon and becoming a rules lawyer. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!